Namo tas bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhas. Namo tas bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhas. Namo tas bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhas. Thank you very much for joining, everyone. So today we're going to go over the first 24 of the 89 mind energies. That's talks in Abhidhamma. So let's look at what they are. Well, I'll give you a quick summary of where we got to. So in terms of context, as you know, that the Abhidhamma is the highest teaching of Buddhist Dhamma. It is from the Theravada text of Buddhism. And in this subject, we talk about the finest energy types that exist all around us and beyond in all 31 realms. So it is categorized into 4 types of energies: mind energy, thought energy, material energy, and energy neither mind, thought, or material, called Nibbana energy. And in terms of classification, there are 89 types of mind energies, which we look at the first 24 of that today. We already looked at the 52 thought energies. These are the Pali words. Chaitasika is the Pali word. Siddhavili is the Sinhalese word for it. And I'm going to call them thought energies, but they are actually mental factors. They are the qualities of all qualities that exist within a mind energy or chitta energy. We will be looking at the 28 material energies or rupa energies later on in our lessons, and then finally the Nibbana, which is a very unique type of energy. And all of these kind of classifications are similar to the periodic table that are taught in schools. So the periodic table talks about the unique elements that creates all things. But these are the Abhidhamma talks about even finer energy types that creates all things, which can only be detected through a highly developed intellect or the wisdom thought. So that is the context. Just want to also explain, we have gone over this before, the difference between mind energy and thought energy, or the nama dharma. So I drew this chart to explain the concept. They're just mere illustration. So just to explain the context of the mind energy and the thought energy. So as you can see, this 3-sided kind of half a square represents a vibrational energy, a single vibration. Okay, and at the base of it, the black line represents the mind energy. It has 3 sides to it, and these 3 sides in Pali language is called Utpada, Titi, Banga. Utpada means the beginning or the appearance. Titi means duration. Banga means disappearing or the ending of it. So appearing and disappearing are the 2 sides of this vibrational energy. And it is a foundation of the Nama Dharma. And that's what we're going to talk today. There are 89 different classifications of this mind energy or this black line. We're going to talk about those 89 in some detail, but we're going to look at the first 24 today. But we're not going to look at the thoughts that are associated with these mind energies yet, but we're going to give you an overview of that. So I want you to appreciate that all mind energies, all these black kind of vibrational energy there, are associated with at least 7 thought energies. These are the thought energies that are associated, the 7 thought energies that are associated with all 89 types of mind energies. Are you with me so far? Do you want me to slow down or explain anything further?
No,
yeah. Okay, let me know if I'm going too fast, okay? Because we already talked about these in our previous lessons. But the mind energy is the black line, which represent here, mind energy. These are all color-coded. Each color represent some sort of mind energy or thought energy. So the first thought energy is called contact or phassa, which is close to the mind energy. That's the first one. Second one is feel, thought energy. This thought energy called feeling or feel basically detects all types of feeling that we experience in our body. It is a detecting mechanism that tells the mind energy we are feeling either happiness, sadness, or neutral. And so if you feel a feeling, it is that thought that tells the mind there's a thought, there's a feeling that you're feeling right now. And then the recognition thought, which is the next color, is basically sanya, which recognize things. So whenever we sense something with our 6 senses and we recognize it as such, as a person or a feeling or whatever it is that we recognize, the recognition part is done by this thought, recognition thought. It is called sanya in Pali. And then we have the intention thought, which is responsible for creation of karma. So chetana, intention thought, this is also part of the very basic 7 thoughts that exist in all 89 mind energies. The next one is pointedness, one-pointedness, which is sort of concentration, ekaggata. The next one is jivitendriya, which gives life to all the thought energies and the mind energy. And also the last one is to recall, manasikare. So these are minimum thoughts that exist in all mind energies, but the maximum could be around 33, depending on the particular mind energy type. So let's go to the next slide. So today's topic, we're going to cover introduction to the first 24, which is responsible for creating positive karma. So these mind energies are basically creates the positive energies. So I put this slide together. It's actually quite detailed, but let me let me go through how to translate this. Okay. Well, out of the 89 mind energies, we will go through those 89 mind energies, every lesson from now. So we're going to cover the first 24. First 24 is called Kusal, Kaamawachara Sobhana Sith, or Kusal creation, resulting and functional type energies. Basically, these are the most beautiful mind energies that exist in beings. Okay, in all beings. That lives in the human worlds, the 6 heavens, in those worlds. So let's look at the first 8. So I just want to explain this table. So the first column tells you the number of the particular number of the energy, mind energy, and the second column tells you the category. Because if you look closely, the first table shows you the karma creation category, or Kusal Sith. These are the 8 mind energies that we use when we do something good. when we do something positive, that creates positive energy, positive karma. And there are 10 positive actions that all Buddhists must do in order to cultivate these mind energies. When you do those 10 actions, they're called 10 kusal deeds or 10 positive karma creation actions. When you do those 10 actions, we automatically cultivate these, one of these 8, or if not multiple of these 8 karma creation energies. So the way to read it is, the first part is my kind of English translation of it. And then the last part after the / is the Pali name for it. So all of these 8, they create wholesome karma or positive karma, and in Pali is called kusal sith. So they all 8 are named like that. And the root cause of this mind energy is generosity, and also in some it's actually wisdom as well. So in general, all of them have generosity. So that's the main one that I highlighted there. And then in some of these mind energies, the fourth column explains what feelings are associated in English and in Pali. So the reason I use the word joy, if you remember, joy is the priti thought that experience in our mind. It's not the feeling, it's not the happiness feeling that you feel in your body, which is experienced by the feeling thought. There is a priti thought that you experience, sort of joy feeling in your mind before it's felt into, or it get converted into a feeling of happiness. So joy means it is a thought called priti that you feel in your mind before it get converted into a happiness feeling. So the Pali word for it called somanassa. So I kind of broken the Pali words into these categories. So when you combine them, you can name the Pali name for the energy, the mind energy. But rather than writing the entire name, I just kind of broken it down. So somanassa means joy. And then in this first energy, for example, in this first energy, there's a feeling of joy. So when you do an act of goodness, and in that act you feel joy in your mind, the associated main thought is wisdom. So wisdom. So when you associate the wisdom thought, you feel, you know, the karmic effect of that action. So when you know the karmic effect of what you're doing. So when you, for example, one of the acts of giving is called dana. So when you give dana or act of generosity, and you know the karmic effect of it, then that means your wisdom thought is included in that. So if you see a wisdom thought in the associated main thoughts column, that means wisdom exists in that mind energy. So associated feeling means these feelings exist in that mind energy. Disassociated means these column shows what the wisdom that doesn't exist. So associated main thought means there exists wisdom in that thought, in that mind energy. If it says disassociated, that means wisdom doesn't exist. And these mind energies are normally categorized into asankarika and sasankarika. Asankarika means prompted by yourself. It means you create you create those mind energy by yourself without promptedness from someone else. But if it's a sasankarika, that means it's prompted by someone else. So I want to go over this in detail anyway, so then you'll understand it. But so far, has anyone not clear of anything or how to read this table? So I can understand where you are. When you're doing a good deed, these are the mind energies. These first 8 are the mind energies that you experience. And I want to actually show you this in a book. So further readings, I recommend this book. We will use that because that's my source for this information. I kind of also use my own knowledge from other teachers in conjunction with this book. Let me show you the book. So you know where I'm coming from. So the book for this is called, you can take a photo of this, it's called Comprehensive Manual of Abhidhamma by Bhikkhu Bodhi. It is like the introduction to Abhidhamma. The Pali word for it is called Abhidhamma Sangha. So it talks about this 24 mind energies. So it has a full listing of it. So let me show you the full listing before we go into it in detail. It's a new subject, so if you feel kind of lost, don't worry. Things become clear as we go on. Let me just show you the first 8 Kusal Sith or positive karma creation Sith. Okay, so here. So this is their chart, but it's basically the first one is called this one. So there's a Pali version for it. It's a whole name for it. It says Somanassa Sahagata. Let me just increase this. So the first perfect mind energy when you do meritorious deed, or when you do a good deed, that you should feel is, or you should have, is this one. Somanassa Sahagata. It's called Somanassa Sahagatam Nana Sampayuktam Asankarikam Ekam. So basically, Somanassa means there's a happiness feeling. Okay, there's a happy thought. Like there's a happiness about what you're doing. When you give something to someone, and if you feel happy about it, that's what that means. The Somanassa means happy. Jnana Sampayuktam means there's a wisdom thought dominant in that mind energy. So there's happiness thought dominant. By the way, there are 30 plus thoughts in total, but out of that, the Priti thought, which is the happiness thought, and wisdom thought is highlighted in the name itself. So that's what I want you to appreciate, that when you feel happy, let's say you're doing something good for someone, you're giving some donation, okay? In that moment, if you feel happy about it, and you know the result of it, by giving this, you're getting rid of your desire or attachment, for example, and you are intending to achieve nirvana. That's the primary focus of giving. So if you focus nirvana, and that you want to, by giving, practicing detachment, like that. So if you think of the karmic effect like that, and there are others, but that just to give you an idea, then that means your wisdom thought is in use at that moment. Asankarikam means you're doing this by yourself, without being prompted by anyone, without any influence by anyone, because you're used to giving. If you're someone who practice giving all the time or most of the time, then when you see the need to give, or an opportunity to give, you'll give it. You give whatever it is. You give of your time, you give of your possessions, material possessions, money, whatever it is you can afford to give. If you give without being influenced by anyone, then you have this thought. So if you have those three key ingredients, happiness, wisdom. Wisdom means by knowing the karmic effect of giving. So you got to learn, according to Dhamma, what are the karmic effect of giving. There are 5 things. You know, when you know the karmic effect, and so you exactly know why you're giving. That means the wisdom thought exists in that mind energy. And then you're doing it without being prompted by anyone. So prompted means without being influenced by anyone, because you're used to it. You know, giving is something you're used to. So when you're doing that kind of act in that way, this is the mind energy that you experience. That's the most perfect karmic, positive karma creation mind energy. The second one is it has happiness, it has wisdom, thought, but you're not used to giving. So you're giving it with the help of someone's prompting you. So someone's telling you to do it, and someone's showing you how to do it. And when because you're not used to it, it's a new thing for you, like this giving. If someone's encouraging you, teaching you how to do it, and because of that you give, there's the thought that you have in that moment. So the third one is somana sahagatam. That means you have happiness thought, but jnana viprayuktam, which means there's no wisdom. You're just giving it because you feel good about it, but you don't know why you're giving it. You don't know the karmic effect, but you know that you're doing a good thing. But you're doing it because you're used to it. No one told you how to do it. So asankarikam means you're doing it of your own will without being prompted by anyone else. But there's no, you don't know the Dhamma, you don't know the result, the actual effect of it. And there's no intention of achieving nirvana or anything like that. You're just doing it. Let's say you found someone who's hungry and you gave them food because he or she is hungry, or even an animal who's hungry. That's also because you're doing it with happy thoughts, right? But you don't know the effect of it, the karmic effect. So that's jnana viprayukta, means without knowing the effect or karmic effect. But you're doing it with your own will. That's when you experience this mind energy. This is called consciousness also, or vijnana in Pali. But I call it mind energy, so it's easy to translate. So that's what that means. The fourth one is again somanassa, which means happiness thought. Yes, Chitrika asked a question. Is that so good? You always have to know why. Well, if you want to get the maximum karmic effect, you have to know why, because that's when you use your wisdom thought. When you see when you do something good, and you know the effect, then you're using your intellect, you're using your wisdom, and then you're actually experiencing the best mind energy, the number one mind energy thought. So if you want to experience that it's important to know the karmic effect. That's why you have to learn the Dhamma to understand that. Now, meditation does all of these things. So when you meditate, you definitely use the wisdom thought, especially the insight meditation. So that's another positive karma creation action that you can do. I'll go through that in a later slide today. But I just want to cover these 8 first, so you can appreciate the different mind energies and their uniqueness that exists. So somanas sahagatam, which means happiness. Jnana viprayukta means there's no wisdom. But sasankarika means you're doing that good deed with the help of someone else. So just understand these two words. I know it's in Pali, but asankarika means you're doing it with your own will because you're used to it. Sasankarika means you're doing it with the help of someone. Someone's prompting you to do it. So in our chart, it says promptedness and unpromptedness. So this last column, if it says prompted, that means it's sasankarika. Unprompted means asankarika. So in this first one, basically you're not prompted. That's what the no is there for. The second one, you're prompted because it says so in that mind energy. Let me go back to it. So the second one is sasankarika. So that's why it's prompted, says yes. But the first one is no. So the first four, do you have any questions on the first four?
No.
So it's pretty clear then. Okay, good. Thank you. And so somanassa means when you're doing something good with some happiness. Now, the same thing, but without happiness is the next four. Upeksha sahagatam means you're not happy nor sad. So basically, upeksha means neutral. So when you have a neutral feeling without a happiness, but non-sampyuktam means you have wisdom. You know the cause and effect and the karmic effect of it, whatever good deed that you're doing. So you only have these mind energies when you're doing a good deed. So upekha sahagatam means neutral feeling. Jnana-sampayuktam means wisdom thought, you know the karmic effect. Asankarikam means no one's telling you to do it, you're doing it at your own will, so unpromptedness. And upekha sahagatam, the number 6, upekha sahagatam jnana-samprayuktam. So pretty much like the first one, but someone's prompting you to do it. So someone's teaching you how to do that good deed. That's when someone's teaching you, then there's the thought, there's a mind energy you're experiencing in your mind at that moment. So number 7, upekha sahagatam. The main difference here is there's no wisdom. Okay, wisdom is absent from this mind energy. And when the wisdom is absent, the problem is when the wisdom is absent in these good deeds, and it's such a powerful karma that when you die, when you pass away in this life, because of one of these karmic effects, if you done a very very good deed in a nana viprayuktam, or without absent of the wisdom thought, and the karmic effect of that thought comes as your last thought of this life, then that's the thought that you will have you will experience, that will help you to be born in a next life. That's the thought that will direct your karma. So there are, like, to achieve nirvana, it is said that you need to be born with the perfect or trihetuka karmic mind energy. Trihetuka means there are 3 root causes to have the perfect mind energy, and that's this one. So it needs to have wisdom, which means jnana sampayukta. That means the wisdom has to be there, and obviously wisdom means the opposite of ignorance, and the other root cause are alobha and adosa. Alobha means generosity. Adosa means loving kindness or maitri. So basically, when you have those 3 thoughts, primarily to to be in the mind energy that caused you to be born again, then in that lifetime, you're more likely to achieve nirvana, because your beginning mind energy is perfect. So perfect mind energy is any mind energy that has wisdom. So that's why we have to learn the karmic effect of the good deeds that you do, because it will help you. If you haven't achieved the nirvana in this lifetime, it will help you to be born with the ability to achieve nirvana, or with the wisdom to achieve nirvana in the next life. Did you understand that distinction, or shall I explain that in more detail?
I'm okay.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
That's good. Sounds good.
Yeah. So now basically wisdom. If you do any good deed with wisdom taught inside the mind energy, then the karmic effect of that is more powerful, and it will help you, to achieve nirvana in the next life if you haven't achieved so in this life. So that's what basically the first eight perfect karma creation mind energies, and I try to explain this in a more kind of methodical way in this table. So let me go over the table again. So what we explain in that just now is the first eight karma creation. So the first column explains whether what the mind energy does. Okay, it creates karma. The first eight actually is responsible for creating good karma. The second eight is responsible for the results of those karma. So when you have as a effect of one of the first eight, let's say you give you give a lot of things, material things to people and whoever needs it, and as a result, let's say you have more material things in this lifetime. Okay, and those kind of results of these karmic actions are affected by these mind energies. So the second lots of eight is responsible for the result of the first eight. So they are pretty much the same, but the context is different. The context is the result creation from the first karma creation. So first one creates first lots of eight creates a karma. Second lots of mind energies gives you the result of those karmic actions. So those are the two main distinction of the two categories there. So the second column explains the purpose of the mind energy, and the third column explains the root cause that's dominant in that mind energy, which is alobha. Alobha means generosity. Obviously, wisdom can be on and off, as I said before. So wisdom is not always there, but alobha is there. So the fourth column explains what feelings are dominant, whether it's a joy feeling. So if it's somanasa means, as I said before, it's a joy or priti thought when you're feeling happy. Now the other feeling is neutral. So if it says upekha, that means it's neutral. So in this last four, more neutral type feeling exists. The first four, joy feeling exists. And then the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth column, it tells you whether wisdom exists or not in that thought, in that mind energy. So if this column, associated main thought column, has wisdom or prajna in Pali, wisdom thought, then it exists on this column. If it doesn't exist, that means wisdom thought is absent. All the absent wisdom thoughts are shown here on this column. Disassociated means it's absent from that mind energy. And this column tells you if the mind energy is prompted or not. If it's been, if the prompter says no, that means you're doing it out of your own will. If it says yes, that means someone's helping you to do it. Someone's assisting you to do it. So in that way, if you can basically translate it, then that's the whole point of it. So the first lot of 8 creates the karma. Second lots of 8, the mind energies are used when the results of the first lot of 8 are being produced. Okay. Now the third lots of 8 are created. It's called kriya, meaning it's just functional. It doesn't create karma, or it has no result of the karma. It doesn't create it or no produce results. It is just functional. So these mind energies are functional, and they only occur in people who achieve nirvana. So let's say we practice meditation in this life and we achieve nirvana. Now, because they haven't passed away, they're still living, they still do normal things, but they don't get attached or detached from it. I mean, they don't really create karma from it through attachment. So in those beings, these are the mind energies that exist when they do certain things. So they are, if I go into that book, we can then look at those. It's pretty much the same as the kusal mind energies that we've been through, but they're called kriya. Kriya means they don't create any karmic effect, whether it's good or bad, and it has no effect at all. So it just basically action. It's just functional. So let me try to find those 8 also. This book goes through that in detail. So if you're interested in reading, it's a good book. Yeah, these are the functional consciousness. Kaamawachara Sobhana Sith. So again, it's the same as before. So somana sagatam, jnana samprayuktam, asankarikam. So it means there's happiness, but it doesn't create karma. Jnana samprayukta, that means wisdom exists. And asankarika means is non-prompted, so they do it by themselves without help of others. So it's exactly the same as before. The only difference is because that person has removed all attachments, there's no karma that get created. So that's why it's in that. So it's pretty much the same 8. But it doesn't create karma. So that's why it's functional. So those are the 24 different kusal mind energies or positive mind energies. Any questions on this so far? We'll go into the 10 different actions that we can do to experience this first 8. And thereby, as a result, the second 8. So the second 8, I just want to give an example. So let's say, whatever good that you have in this lifetime is basically created by these 8 energies. So if you basically get food, now in this COVID period, there are a lot of people who doesn't have food to eat. But if you're a lucky person who have food, who doesn't have shortage of it, it's because of one of these mind energies that cause you to experience that karmic result, because you must have given food to those in need in previous lives, or even in this life by using these mind energies. So as a result, the karmic effect is fair, and that it creates these energies in you to receive that effect of the good deed that you did. So there are, I'll go through the 10 different positive actions that will create or cultivate these energies, these mind energies. But the ultimate goal is to do as much as possible, as much good deeds in this list as possible, so that you cultivate, these wholesome karma creation mind energies. So let's go to the next slide. So the last 8, just know that these are the mind energies that exist on those beings who have achieved nirvana, who hasn't passed away yet. So the 10 meritorious deeds, according to Buddhism, are these. First one is giving. Giving of 3 types. You can give in terms of material possessions, because you see, when you give, you're practicing detachment. Okay, so if you don't really sense that your detachment is lowering when you're giving, then you're giving something you're not really attached to. So when you really give, you got to feel like you got to give things that you love, because when you give things you love, that's when you really feel your attachment is slowly deteriorating, slowly getting reduced. So if you give because you have too much, that's also good, but it doesn't really get to the core of your giving, the purpose of giving. The purpose of giving is to practice detachment to things, the material things. Now we are detached to we are very attached to our body parts. So that's why that people who are determined to be arahato or achieve nirvana in this life, or as soon as possible, they give body parts which are the most important or most attached parts to one's life. Like for example, eyes. Some people give their eyes to some people who needs it, their liver and other parts. So people who do that, they're practicing extreme sort of giving, because you have to really give the things you're attached to, otherwise you don't feel like giving. So maybe start with something you're less attached to and slowly build it up. But ultimately, that's what giving is. Giving are of 3 types. One is material form of giving, so giving of your material possessions, including your body parts. And the second one is giving the knowledge of the Dhamma to others, like this that I'm doing. So that's another form of dana. The other one is to give life. So if you help someone who's going to die, like an animal, for example, if the animal is taken to butcher, and you prevent that animal from being killed, that has a direct correlation to your life expectancy in terms of karmic effect. So if you have a long life, that means you help anyone who's a being that's about to be killed in previous lives. So that's why a lot of people try to prevent different animals being killed, like cows and pigs and all sorts, from for food, for example, or for fun. That kind of prevention has as a way of karmic effect will increase your life expectancy. So people who kill animals, who kill for either for jobs or for fun, their life expectancy reduces, and that's why some people die at a young age. Some at birth. Is because of their karmic effect. So karma is very fair, and you cannot bargain with it. You cannot negotiate with it. It's fair to anyone, whatever religion you're in, whatever being you are, whether you're an animal, whether you're a human being or deity, or whether you're born in hell or in heaven or in Brahma worlds. Karma is very fair, and it has no discrimination. So that's why we had to do good deeds, because ultimately it's the karmic effect that we carry throughout the cycles of rebirth, nothing else. So the most meritorious deeds in that list, the perfect one is giving, because this practices detachment, or this lessens the greed, the cultivation of greed. It kind of reduces that. So you have to really practice all those three types of dana or giving. The next one is sila. Sila is moral conduct or discipline. There are 5 standards of a Buddhist, of where what they need to cultivate in their life, which is known as 5 precepts, which is: thou shalt not kill or harm a living being. Thou shalt not steal or take what's not given to them, and commit adultery. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not lie or cheat others, and also thou shalt not intoxicate themselves. So when you prevent yourself from these 5 rules, you're actually preventing yourself from the law also. Because if you think about it, if you categorize people in jail today, you will see that they have gone into extreme end of any of these 5 things to end up in jail. So it is a universal law. It's a common conduct that we need to follow in order to live in harmony. If you're the only person who lives in this world, then I guess those 5 rules doesn't really have much effect. But when you live with other people, to live in harmony, it's important to have some moral conduct, and these 5 rules, they have certain conditions that needs to be met in order to complete the karmic effect. So you got to know those conditions as well. But the 5 rules are the minimum standard of a Buddhist. So without those discipline or sila, you don't really have a sound mind to meditate. So when you steal or kill someone or anything like that, your mind is not calm. It's restless. So that's why we have to first prevent ourselves from doing this or breaking these 5 rules, so that we have a sound mind. And when you have a sound mind, that mind is capable of observing their mind, their senses in a fine way through meditation. That's why the 3rd one is important. This is the most powerful. This is the most meritorious deed in terms of achieving nirvana, mental development or meditation or bhavana. So the mental development or meditation are of 2 types, and they have 2 different jobs. One is called samatha, which means it develops concentration. So if I go back into our thought list, we have covered this in the past. Let me share that with you. So in our thought list, the first thought are these, the first 7 thoughts. within that, there's a thought called ekaggata, which is one-pointedness. This thought, if your one-pointedness or ekaggata thought is weak, that means there's a thought called uddacha under the akusal section. The uddacha thought or distracted thought is powerful. The restlessness thought is powerful. When this thought is powerful, it's hard to meditate. So when, through samatha bhavana, through samatha meditation, you are weakening the distracted thoughts or uddacha thought and strengthening the ekaggata thought or one-pointedness thought. Because it practices concentration, it practices focusing on one particular thing, whether it's breathing or some other focus. So the purpose of samatha bhavana is to practice or strengthen your ekaggata thought. And also, there's another thought that it strengthens, which is under the kusal section, which is the sati or awareness thought. So awareness and one-pointedness thought are primarily exercised when you do the concentration meditation called samatha. Now you cannot achieve nirvana with samatha, but it will help. It will help you to see these finer energies called thought energy and mind energy and rupa energy with that kind of concentrated mind. But in order to achieve nirvana, you have to practice the insight meditation, which is taught in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, which is basically the only meditation type that exists, and it's only taught in Buddhism. And when you practice one of those 21 types of insight meditations, that one meditation technique alone can help you to achieve nirvana and all the karmic results along the way. So when you practice insight meditation, you're also exercising this sati thought or this awareness thought together with many other thoughts. Primarily you're exercising the awareness thought and the wisdom thought. You see, when your awareness thought goes to sleep, when your awareness thought is not in use, your wisdom thought goes to sleep. So in order to exercise, it's through this wisdom thought, this, you could call this the third eye. It is this wisdom thought that is currently impurified with all the negative thoughts. Okay, just imagine like a lotus flower. Before it can bloom as a lotus flower, it has to come from the muddy water, through the mud. So right now, your wisdom thought is covered by mud of this 14 muddy thoughts. These are muddy thoughts. These are thoughts that creates akusal karma or negative karma. These thoughts, especially the ignorance thought, kind of hides your wisdom thoughts. Okay, so in order to open your wisdom or intellect, you have to really practice insight meditation. And it is through insight meditation, your awareness becomes powerful. When your awareness becomes powerful, your wisdom thought awakens. And we need to purify this thought. Just like through the mud, the lotus flowers bloom into a perfect flower above water. In order to achieve nirvana, in order to purify this to a level of achieving nirvana or to see that nirvana energy through your third eye, you need to really purify it with insight meditation. And we'll talk about insight meditation later, after this subject of Abhidhamma, but it's important to practice that. And insight meditation develops awareness thought and the wisdom thought, and it's only through that you can achieve nirvana. So those are the two types of meditation. Insight meditation, or Pali word for that is called vipassana, English translation is insight, because it's focusing within your body. So, you know, the 21 focus, if I can just summarize some of them, the 21 is divided into these 4 categories. Kaya Anupassana means being aware of your body. So it's focusing on your body, basically. Different focuses exist of your body. You know, some could be movements, some could be, you know, the inner kind of body parts. But the 4 categories are body. So there are 14 insight meditation focuses merely in the category of body. The second one is focusing of the mind energy. So that's why you need to learn these mind energy types, so that you can do the insight meditation that's focused on the mind energy. Because the mind energy focus insight meditation pretty much says, when you're doing an action, I mean, the mind energy is always in use, right? So we have mind energies every, you know, microseconds, okay? Like it is said that when you blink your eye, there are billions of mind energies appearing and disappearing. So we don't really, you know, our intellect is not that sharp to understand every one of those. But, you know, after about a minute or 10 minutes or half an hour, if you can just look inward and see whether, you know, what kind of mind energy that exists right now within me. And you do that through observation, without attachment, just by mere observation, and with the knowledge of this Abhidhamma teaching, because that's the purpose of learning these mind energies, so that you can easily identify those energies as they occur within you. And then you can practice insight meditation on the mind energy. And I could go through that on a different lesson, but the mind energy is very highly intellectual, it's highly stimulating your mind and your wisdom thought. And when you do that, your mind actually, mind wandering becomes less and less, and it becomes, you know, a very still mind, and it's very calm mind. So basically, first, well, 14 of the 21 types of insight meditation is based on body. 1 is based on mind energy. 1 is based on feelings energies. So different types of feelings. When you have feelings, you can do the feeling meditation. So that's 14, 15, 16. And then the last 5 is based on the Dhamma energy, or the Dhamma teachings, various teachings. 1 is focusing on the thoughts. So that's why you need to learn the thoughts. If you learn the 52 thoughts, which is taught in the other videos, you can identify some of those thoughts, especially the negative thoughts, as they occur in your mind. And this insight meditation, especially the mind energy and the thought energy and the feeling energy type meditations, the first step is to identify what it is. Which mind energy is it? Which feeling type is it? There are only 3 feeling types, but it's classed into 16 different classifications. But the three high-level types are happy, sad, and neutral. And those are included with lust and without lust. So you need to distinguish those type feelings. And also, the other ones are the thought. So you cannot identify the thought without learning the thoughts that occur in all beings, because we experience these thoughts. Although they're taught in an ancient language called Pali, we need to translate them into our own words, own language. And that's the whole purpose of these lessons, so that you can identify them within your own mind. Because all of these energies that we talk about, these mind energies, these thought energies, they exist within us. They're not alien to us. And we just using this ancient language to explain these powerful, energy types, so that you can recognize them and you can meditate on So that's the whole goal of this, so that you can achieve nirvana ultimately. And if nothing else, you can live a peaceful life. If you want to really achieve peace, you have to really practice insight meditation, and that will help you to understand what true peace is, which you can do anytime. So these insight meditation, you can do anytime. You can do it when you have a thought. You can do it when you have a feeling. You can do it when you do when you do a body movement. All you're doing is you're bringing awareness to it. You identify what it is, and basically observing it like a third person. That's what that's pretty much the essence of the insight meditation. Observation. First is recognition, then observing that it's there and when it's not there, and that brings your awareness and intellect or wisdom to a very, very high standard. And awareness is the key. So because you actually focused on looking at these energies or observing these energies that you sense in that moment, you're actually seeing the true nature of yourself. You're seeing the true energies, not for more than what it is, for exactly what it is, which is energy. And that's why this knowledge is important. So when you do that, you will develop certain, your wisdom will be highly enhanced to see. I mean, there are 9 different levels of intellect before you achieve the first stage of nirvana. Those 9 levels of intellect you can achieve by practicing insight meditation. And when the first level of intellect is seeing, is actually, you can actually see this energy that all around us, the vibrational world that we live in. You can actually see it through your own intellect when you practice meditation, when you practice insight meditation specifically. And when you see that vibrational world through your own intellect, then you understand why we teach in this subject. All these kind of teachings come into reality when you see the true nature of this vibrational world that we live in. So that's why we need to develop our intellect to a level where we can see the vibrational world that's all around us. And in Buddhism, it is the person with the first developed intellect called Udaya or the person that can see the appearing and disappearing of the vibrational world through their own intellect. That is a person known to be the most intelligent person according to Buddhism. So if you don't really see the vibrational world with your own intellect, you're not classed as intelligent in Buddhism. So it is different levels of understanding and intelligence. So we all can experience that through insight meditation and through learning this knowledge. So let's carry on. So that's the purpose of meditation, and it's important to focus your time and energy on insight meditation mostly. But you have to really, before you do that, you have to develop your concentration to some sort of calmness or samadhi state through the samatha meditation technique. So then you can go into insight meditation afterwards, because these are very, very fine energies we're talking about here. So you can't, if you have a distracted mind, it's hard to really observe them. But it's worth having a go, because we all at different levels of intellect. So the fourth one is called paying reverence to holy persons and elders, apachayana. So basically this means when we pay respect to holy people or elders, it creates a mind energy of positive nature within us, because it cultivates humbleness, it cultivates respectness and appreciation, and these are all positive thoughts. And it cultivates one of those 8 mind energies that we talked about. 5, service to others. When we offer our services to others, we cultivate kindness and compassion, and that definitely exists in the positive karma creation thoughts or mind energies. So it's important to basically find opportunities to service others, especially in this type of climate with the COVID situation. A lot of people need help, so it's important to cultivate that compassion and caring nature that we all have, because that get rid of, or that hides our selfishness that's inherent within us. So it's important to practice that. And also the number 6 is sharing of merit. So when we do a good deed, any of these good deeds, we have to share those merits, the positive energy, positive karma that we create. We can share that to others, especially to deities or basically higher beings that protect us, although we don't see it. We pass our merits to them as giving, as a way of thanks. And that merit they can receive. That's the only thing they can receive from our actions. They can't receive physical gifts. They can receive our merits from our positive actions, especially if our departed ones, our loved ones, are in need of these merits, so that they can go from a negative realm to a positive realm. They will definitely benefit from our of sharing of our merits, because that's the only thing. Money cannot transcend merits to those beings. You have to really create positive mind energies to create positive merits, and you can pass that those merits to those departed ones, so that they can, if they haven't achieved nirvana already, they can, like for example, if they've been born in a hell or in other spirit world, and because not every hell can, if you're born in certain realms like that, you cannot really receive merits. But if you're in a position to receive merits, then what you give, they can receive, and from there they can go to a better life. So that's why this action is very important, sharing of merits. That's why it is done on all Buddhist kind of holy activities by the monks. So we can also do that, by wishing those merits to be received by the deities or the holy spirits who are capable of receiving it. And the next one is rejoicing in others' merits. So basically, this means if someone else has done any of these 10 deeds and they tell you about it, then you can also imagine that you are part of it, right? So you can be happy with them by really sharing their merits. And it's like if someone tells you something good happened to them, and you really feel compassionate towards them, and you wishing goodness on them, that kind of feeling is generated by doing this particular deed, because you're rejoicing in others good deeds. And this also get rid of jealousy. This if you don't do this, jealousy, which is a negative thought, it get cultivated in us. And rejoicing in others happiness and others meritorious deeds also creates good mind energies, good kusal karma actions or energies within us. So that's why it's important to cultivate that, and it doesn't cost you anything, So number 8 is listening to the doctrine. That's what you're all doing right now, which is the Dhamma, which is the truth, the reality of things as taught in Buddhism. So Buddhism teaches you the reality of things. It's neither pessimistic, neither optimistic, it's realistic. It teaches you realism. It teaches you how the world is. And it's important that we understand the reality so that we don't get attached to it. Because reality is all about energy. Everything around us is created by energy. Imagine we're in a computer game. Imagine this game is made of computer codes, just like the Matrix film. Imagine you're inside the Matrix, and if you haven't experienced the outside world, for you, this world is real. Then someone like Buddha has to come along and say, you're living in an energetic world which is not real. It's coded by these vibrations or these computer codes, So don't get attached to it, because the emotions that you generate are not really real, they're energy. So see those emotions for what it is, not for more than what it is, so that you can break out from this, energetic world that we're in. And that's pretty much the concept. And basically, Buddha is basically the knower of all worlds, not just this world. And he has infinite wisdom to create, or to actually see, each one of us, how we're going to end up achieving nirvana at some point. He sees all of that, and it's amazing, the abilities he has. But that's why you have to learn about his Dhamma, so that when you see the Dhamma, you see how capable he is. How did he know the thoughts that exist in all of these beings, in all these 31 realms? How do you know that? Because he has infinite wisdom. His intellect is such that it's not even comparable with anyone. So we only learning, a bit of it. His knowledge is beyond kind of comprehension, but it's as we learn this and as we practice inside meditation, we realize what is taught is the truth. And it's that realization that will help us to achieve nirvana. If we practice meditation, if we practice this meritorious deed to a level where we are close to nirvana, then if we pass away and the next time we are born, a Buddha exists in that realm, then he will help us to achieve nirvana. But we have to help ourselves first by developing to that level of wisdom. So that's why there are so many stories in Buddhism, where he helped people to achieve nirvana who have done serious misdeeds in that life. So for us to do that, we have to really cultivate these deeds, these meritorious deeds, as much as possible. Because through all of these deeds, you don't benefit anyone but yourself. So we have to take the responsibility for our journey to nirvana, because no one else can do it for you except for yourself. So it's important that we take responsibility and we prioritize our daily life to practice the Dhamma, to practice inside meditation, because nothing has a priority other than your own journey towards nirvana. Because if you miss this life, who knows where you're going to end up? If you go to hell, there are billions of trillions of life time that you have to spend there before you can come out of that realm, because the life expectancy is not the same. I mean, the closest heaven to human world, 100 years in human years, is there one day. That's how time differs in these realms. And it's important that we try to use this opportunity where we are lucky enough to be born in a time where Buddhist knowledge still exists, because it doesn't exist forever. There are times it disappears from this realm. So it's important that we feel lucky to be born in a time where knowledge of Buddhism still exists and people who practice it still exist, and the friends who teaches it to others out of compassion still exists. So it's important we use that advantage to practice our own, to develop our own wisdom to a level where we achieve nirvana. So we had to really prioritize this practice of achieving or this doctrine to our daily life. We had to really meditate daily. It doesn't have to be long. I mean, the insight meditation you can do anytime. You don't have to sit down and do it. You can do it when you have a thought. You can do it when you have a feeling. You can do it when you walk, when you move. That's why you have to learn the different techniques and learn all 21. There are different preachers who teaches it, but once you learn it, I will also teach that once I finish this series. But once you learn it, you can do that anytime. The idea is to be mindful and be observant throughout the day. That's the standard we want to get to. Throughout the day, we're fully mindful. But right now, we're only mindful, a couple of minutes, couple of hours, couple of seconds. But we need to practice. If you can practice, observing your thoughts, observing your mind, observing your feelings, and identifying what they are, etc. Minute, 10 minutes, 5 minutes a day. That makes a huge difference, and you will see the change in you. You will see how your life will change for the better. You will see how peace get created within your mind, and it's important that we practice that, because especially this COVID period is a blessing in disguise, because it made people more spiritual, and we all have a spiritual muscle within us, and we had to exercise it the right way, and that's through insight meditation. And through that, you actually create your wisdom and intellect to a level where you see this vibration world that's all around us. So that's why you need to listen to the doctrine, so that you can learn how to practice insight meditation. You don't need to learn everything. Once you learn the basics, learning is easy. It's practicing that takes time. So once you practice, you will realize all these teachings for yourself. So Abhidhamma, as I said before in a different lesson, is that Abhidhamma is like using the sat-nav to achieve a destination. So let's say we want to get from here to London. The sat-nav tells you how to get there in a graphical form, and maybe using audio as well. But that's not the true indication of the roads. When you go on the path, you'll see the actual details of the road, and what's around it, and the shops and the trees. Those details you will experience when you're on this path to nirvana. The state of your mind, the different thoughts that you experience, you will experience that for yourself. But this Abhidhamma teaching is helpful because it teaches you these are the mind energies that exist. These are the thought energies that exist. And when you practice insight meditation, you will see those thoughts, or some of them. You will see those mind energies, and then you recognize them. Oh, this is what I learned in that subject, and then you recognize them. Then you can, identify with it, and it becomes your meditations easy. So that's the purpose of learning this, so that you can practice. So once you learn this, it's easy for you to practice insight meditation. So that's why learning the Dhamma is important. When you do that, you create positive karma or positive mind energies. And when you teach it, you definitely create positive mind energies. So the teaching is another good deed that you can do. And the last one is straightening out one's view. So our view of the world changes when we learn the Dhamma. So it's important that we straighten our view by learning the Dhamma. The Ujjukamma means seeing the true nature of all things, seeing it according to karmic results, seeing it according to the nama and rupa dharma, which is taught in Abhidhamma. So when you see people as mind energies, when you see people as thoughts, because that exists in all of us, even animals, right? So if you can imagine, like when an animal is eating with hunger, that it is the kind of desire or the lower mind energy that exists in that moment. So just see all beings as mind energies, okay? And that's, I mean, once you learn these different energies, you can identify them within you and also in others. And when you do that, your attachment to them become less and less, because you're seeing everyone for, everyone as energy ultimately. So those are the 10 meritorious deeds that that we cultivate to achieve these kusal creation mind energies. Right. So any questions from that before we conclude? So there's a question by Chitrika. If someone is in prison, for example, killed and in jail, can he not overcome that and be enlightened? Yes, he can, providing he has this knowledge. So if someone is in prison, actually is a good place to practice meditation, because there's no distractions, unless you're in a very, very distracted place. Because some prisons are very kind of secluded, and you can meditate and enlightened. It's basically, it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in prison or in a house or in a monastery or in a forest, as long as you focus on your mind, your actions, and when everyone goes to sleep, you can practice this inside meditation. You can see the thought that arises in your mind. So if you recognize the thoughts, and you can see its cause and effect, how it got there, what helps you to get those thoughts into your mind, and you can see it appearing and disappearing, etc. All those stages or techniques you can do when you meditate. So it's important to practice meditation wherever you are. Do you have any other questions, Stuart?
Yes, you mentioned about the example of saving animals having a karmic effect.
Yes.
I just have a question regarding that. Does not being a vegetarian have a karmic effect?
Not according to Buddhism.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is, Buddhism doesn't tell you to be vegetarian because it has no direct effect to achieving nirvana. Okay, but it's that's why it's not a rule in Buddhism not to eat animal. It says not to kill, so you cannot really kill an animal to have as food for yourself. But you can buy something from the supermarket that's killed for many people, not just for you, and eat it. So there's no karmic effect from that, but you cannot harm a living being for food.
I see. Right, I get it. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. So basically, if you have time, I can teach you one of the insight meditations that I like to do. Do you all have time?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. So in the Mahasatipatthana Sutra, there's a meditation type called Chittanupassana, which is focusing on the mind energies. Okay, so let me go through this for you. So I'm going to focus purely on the negative ones, because negative thoughts are the thoughts that we mostly experience. That's why we exist. Okay, so I want to just basically give an example using some of these negative thoughts. So in our mind energies, as you probably saw there, we only cover the kusal ones. So in the kusal or the positive ones, We identified few thoughts from the 52 thoughts. We said that when we say somanassa, somanassa means joy. So joy thought was there, right? Somanassa sahagatta, which is prajna sampayukta. So basically, that's the wisdom thought was there. Okay, so prajna was there and somanas was there. So those two thoughts were highlighted in the kusal, in the 8 positive actions or positive mind energies we covered. But I'm going to show you how to identify your negative one. So when you have a negative mind energy, they have a combination of any of these thoughts. Okay, so let's say when we feel what shall I choose? When you feel doubtful, or actually, when you feel which one do you want to choose as an example, so we can relate better? So I think we can choose doubt or regret. Let's choose regret. So I think most people can relate to this thought because you know we often think about you know what we haven't done and what we have done that are regretful. So if you're thinking about some of the good deeds that you couldn't do and you're regretting that, or if you're regretting about some of the bad actions that you did, then you're exercising this thought at that moment. Okay, and your mind energy dominated by this thought, regret. So to do the insight meditation for mind energy, it's important first we identify that right now in my mind, for me to tell this story about regret, the regret thought must exist. And you know this with your wisdom, okay? Because at this moment, your wisdom thought is at work. That's how you, and also your awareness thought is at work. So through the awareness thought and the wisdom thought, you recognize right now in your mind, the regret thought is a root cause for this story that I'm telling myself. So you identify the root cause as the regret thought. Did you understand that? So first step is, yeah. So the first step of the insight meditation for the mind energy is identification of the thought or the mind energy. So the first one, we identified it. And the moment you identified it with the help of these two thoughts, awareness thought and the wisdom thought. Now, the moment you identify it, you will immediately feel the power of the regret thought diminishes or breaks down. Now, if you keep observing it with that awareness, it will die down because you're not cultivating the story anymore. You're not cultivating, the regretful story that you've been telling yourself. Because by nature, we're designed to cultivate it and go after it and create emotions after it. And then, feel depressed or whatever after it. So instead of doing any of those things, we get into the root cause of it. And we're identifying the culprit behind it, which is the regret thought. And we're not giving any importance to it anymore. So therefore, we're not cultivating the story. Instead, we're observing it. And if you don't cultivate an energy and you observe it, it has to, by definition, it has to die down. All you're doing is you're watching it die down. Just like you're going into the beach and you're observing the wave, right? And you can see the wave is very, very tall as it comes towards you. And when it hits the shores, it dies down. Just like that, if you observe these energy, first step is to recognize them, then observe them, then you watch that energy dies down. So can we all try that exercise right now? Let's identify a regretful thought. Let's identify that thought, how we sense the regretful thought in us, okay? So can I ask you all to think of something you regret in the past, something you've done that you regret about. Can you think of something right now? And when you have it, can you type done in the chat? So I know you will have a memory about something you regret. Good. Good. Let's wait for some more. Okay. Now the second step is something that I use, but it's not in the insight meditation technique sutra, but it's just for me to help initially, because at the beginning you have to identify the intensity of this thought. So out of 10, 10 is the most regretful. Can you all give some points to this thought, this experience that you just remembered? If you can just put that number into the chat for me. So 10 is the most regretful, 0 is the least. Where are you right now? If you can just type the number. Before you start the meditation, if you can just write the intensity. Good. So we have some idea about the intensity. Okay, so now I want you to really recognize how regretful feeling is or thought is felt in your mind. How does your wisdom thought recognizes regretful thought? Because this will help you to identify it immediately next time before it can take over. So right now, take a moment to observe and remember how your wisdom thought recognizes regretful memories or thoughts. Take a moment and look at its characteristics and observe, because this energy is different to other energies. It's unique. So using your intellect, try to remember how you recognize. How did you know it was regret thought, not pride or hatred or jealousy? How do you know that there's a uniqueness about this energy? Try to identify the uniqueness. And when you identify it, remember that, because that remembrance will help you to quickly identify next time. And to do this, your awareness thought is in use, your wisdom thought is in use, so make them, put them to use. Okay, so I hope you know some characteristics about the regret thought right now. So now the next step of the Chittanupassana meditation or mind energy meditation is to identify the cause and effect of this regretful thought. For you to experience this thought, what helped you? What caused it? So it could be a person's image that came to your mind, or it could be something someone said. I want you to backtrack this thought into its root cause. Okay, so keep asking the question, for me to experience this regretful thought, what caused it? There's an answer that your mind will give you, and recognize that cause quite clearly. I want you to recognize every cause very clearly in your mind, and then once you clearly identify it, ask what caused that reason to show up. Then there's another answer. Then ask what caused it, until you have no root causes. Keep analyzing it, and you have unique reasons for them. Everything has a cause and effect. I want you to consciously analyze it, and when you analyze it, recognize the cause, and clearly view the cause without attaching to it. Just see it for what it is, which is energy. And these causes are unconscious. They're they basically got attached to that memory. That's why you experience that regret. And notice when you do this, that you're not attaching yourself. You're completely watching as a third person, as an outsider looking in. And keep analyzing it. When you analyze it, then give yourself some points to the intensity of the regretful thought and enter your points into the chat. When you enter the points, just put letter C in front so I know it's not the same as the previous points. So we're looking for causes for the effects. It could be 2 or 3, it could be 10, but consciously analyze it. Very good. And once you analyze the causes, you realize, this is something you realize, that these causes are made of energy. They're not real. So if something is made of energy, it constantly changes. And when something changes, we feel, hurt by it. We feel pain. And we know that pain is not us. Okay? So the three truth, you should realize that everything is energy, and therefore it's not real. And when something is not real and it changes because we can't keep it the way we want, we feel pain. So not real pain, and because of that truth, it's not really us. It's not part of us. And that's where the true detachment comes. So when you realize those three about the regretful thought and that whole story, I want you to reassess yourself and give another points for the intensity. And this time, just put the letter A and then give points. So I want you to realize that it's impermanent. It's, this change of energy, it causes you pain. And because it's made of energy, it's not really you. It's not part of you. It's really doesn't exist. Good. And if the energy is still there, then try to reassess what's there now. Try to consciously observe the whatever the small amount of regretful feeling that's there now. Try to basically observe it in more detail, because you already observed the bigger picture. Now it goes smaller. I want you to examine the smaller picture of regret. See what's really there. Identify how you sense it, how your intellect recognize this small part of the regretful feeling or thought, or the mind energy, because it's a mind energy we are recognizing here. And then follow the same steps. Find the cause and effect. Know that it's not real. And those three truth about the energy. When you've done that, put the letter B in front and then give point to the intensity of it. Very good. Excellent. So I think you're all at 0 now. So that's great. So now, do you understand the power of insight meditation? Do you understand the power of awareness? And if you practice this in your daily life, you can do this anytime. This is the power of insight meditation. And this helps you to identify the qualities of the mind that you have, the qualities of the thoughts that often occur in your mind. And we want to move away from all these 14. And by practicing this kind of meditation, you want to discourage these thoughts. These are the thoughts that creates all sadness in us. They're the root causes. So we have to learn them. Not only learn them, we have to identify them as they arise in our mind, just the way you did. And when they arise, first step is identification. Know it as jealousy, know it as regret, know it as skepticism or, doubt, or guilt or greed, right? So just identify, just going through this list, identify what are the thoughts, what are the mind energies that you often cultivate in the last week out of this list, right? Make a mental note. And when you do that next time, the moment you realize that for yourself, your awareness level it shoots up, right? Because, educating yourself with this kind of knowledge, it really helps your intellect to grow, and it helps your awareness to grow, and your awareness will be up. That means your security guard is up right now. Because all I'm saying is, if you start with these 14 or even some of them, maybe like you don't need to use these words. These are the original words. These are my translations. You don't need to use them. Learn the meanings and give your own words to them, because they exist in your mind, right? And we all have different language we use for them. So read the meaning. For example, skeptical, right? That's not a word that we normally use. So maybe because it's to do with doubtful thoughts, we can use the word doubt instead, right? So if you feel, whenever you have doubt, whether it's doubt about yourself or others, know that it's a doubtful thought that's at work right now. So I have a doubtful mind energy. So identify it. The moment you identify it, you weaken it, right? Because all of these thoughts helps you to create negative karma. And we don't want none of that. I want you to really discourage yourself cultivating any of those thoughts by being aware, by watching the cause and effect, by knowing the cause and effect are not real. They're made of energy. Anything that's made of energy, it's not real. It changes. That's the nature of it. That realization I want you all to have about, these 14 first. Then, the moment you do that, you're converting the negative mindset into positive automatically. By definition, it has to. The moment the negative goes away, your mind becomes neutral. And if you're having an attitude, if you develop an attitude to do this by practice, you had to do it consciously for about a month, then it becomes automatic. Then these thoughts, imagine these thoughts are your enemy. They help you to go to hell and jail and feel pain in this lifetime and next lifetime. So it doesn't have any positive value at all in terms of, Buddhism. Okay. But if you want to live in this life and you want to cultivate temporary happiness and temporary sadness and all of those things, surprise elements, etc., then you can cultivate this. But if you're a person who is beyond this life, towards nirvana, if your aim in life is to achieve nirvana, then you got to discount this at all cost. And basically, discourage yourself from having this through awareness, through wisdom. So learn some of the core feelings that we all experience. So definitely desire and greed is a common one, because that's why we watch TV. That's why because it's the desire to please our eyes. That's why we listen to music. It's desire to please our ears, right? That's why we have sensual things. That we desire to please our skin or body. That's why we buy, perfume, because we want to our desire to please our smell or nose. That's why we eat tasteful food, because it's our desire to please our tongue. So like that, is a desire is everywhere. So that's what really binds us. Is the desire that leads to greediness and attachment. That's why we have to practice detachment, but not through by force, through realization that, when we let go, we really feel happy and peaceful. That's the realization you'll get through your own intellect. Until you do that, you got to practice mindfulness and insight meditation this way, to really detach from all of these thoughts that kind of bind us to this energetic world that we live in. So jealousy is another, guilt is another. So when we break our own values and rules, we feel guilty. But to be honest, all those guilt feelings, they're all temporary. So just see it for energy, which is exactly what it is. So distractedness. When you feel distracted, that means your mind is still not, focused. So become aware that your distracted thought or udacha thought is really powerful right now. So when your mind wanders, all it does is the distracted thought will distract your focus to any of these thoughts. That's what it does. So identify the thought and just do the insight meditation that you did on those thoughts. That's all you do. Then your distractedness will slow down and die down, and it becomes peaceful. When you're distracted, the thought disappears. When it becomes weak, then your mind becomes very still by default, by, like without having any effort. And that's what I call peace. And I want you all to experience that peace, because that's not something you, basically have to work on all the time. Once you did the initial effort, and you will see the effect yourself, your life will be simplified. You won't have a complicated life, because you enjoy simple life by default without anyone telling you. That is a realization of someone on the path to nirvana. These are the symptoms. Achieving peace is a symptoms of someone practicing insight meditation. So if you like that, if you want to experience that, then you got to observe your own mind, and you got to free your mind from these negative thoughts that creates negative karma. Because we've been taught since our birth that we have to practice desire. We have to cultivate desire. We always have to get better things and bigger things. Indulge ourselves with luxuries in all senses. That's what I've been taught, because that's what binds us to this life, right? That's what gives us temporary pleasure. So we're always going after temporary pleasure, and then someone like Tathagata Buddha comes along and says, what you're doing is completely wrong. Instead of looking outward for happiness, look inward. Look inside your own brain, on your mind, and identify these thoughts in there, and watch them appearing and disappearing, and then you will experience the true happiness, true peace, which you don't need to spend any money on. And that is basically the higher understanding that we will have, and through that we will actually develop true peace, and that's my wish for you, to achieve nirvana in this lifetime. And so next lesson we'll go through another meditation. So hope you enjoyed it. Do you have any other question or any insight?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Stuart.
No, that's great. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Stuart, what did you learn from today's lesson? What are you taking away? Can you share with us?
I think I've taken away the facts that identification, really, that's probably the thing that springs up in my mind, the fact that we identify with so much in this realm, basically. And sometimes it's the unwillingness to look inwards. Sometimes it's the lack of education to look inwards. That enables us to know what we're doing, wrong, basically. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Chitrika, what are you taking away from today's lesson? Can you share some insight?
I think to some extent what Stuart was saying, to a great extent, actually, and the awareness of all these different thought processes that come to play in everything we do in a daily basis.
Yes.
And to be aware, I guess,
very important,
and how to overcome this, and that a little practice of insight meditation did help. The reason I sent you that earlier question was when you were talking about karma.
Yeah.
And I suppose when I think about it, let's say hypothetically someone's in prison doing something really bad, like kill someone, right?
Yeah.
If that's the case, I suppose, is that inside meditation of an exercise that we just did, a simple one, he could keep thinking, right?
Of course, yeah. I mean,
and eliminate that thought and not give fuel to it. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. So basically, in the heat of the moment, if someone made a crime like that and unfortunately kill someone, then
I'm looking at extreme situations here so that you can help you become better.
Exactly. So someone like that would definitely regret that when they come to their senses. But in that moment, even the regretful feeling, they can meditate on, because it's a regretful thought that caused it, and it's justified because something really happened. But right now, you don't need to relive that. If you watch it for energy, because in his mind is reliving that story. So he need to really understand the root cause behind it, which is the regretful thought in this case. Obviously the ignorance is there, but the dominant thought is the regretful thought. So if you just watch the energy, I mean, I created this technique called don't get attached, don't get attached, don't get attached. So if he say things like don't get attached while he's thinking about it, it will help him to calm the thought down dramatically there and then. And then once the intensity is gone down, then he can watch the thought at a sort of micro level, and then analyze it backwards sort of until he finds the root cause and effects. I mean, ultimately all the cause and effects should end up with ignorance, right? Ignorance or greed or hatreds. So those are the three root causes of all our negative actions, negative karma. So if you can track it back all the way to those root causes, then you will realize for yourself that you achieve.
Can you repeat that again? The three causes? What?
Yeah, the three root causes of negative karma are the moha, which is ignorance at core, and greed, which is lobha, and dosa means hatred. So these are the three root causes of all of these thoughts, basically. And you'll get rid of some of the lobha. There are 4 stages to nirvana. On the first stage, called sovan, you will get rid of really the some of the ditthi thought. This one, the guilt or the wrong view, is got rid of. But ultimately, the moha you will get rid of when you achieve nirvana. Until then, it's there. And also, I want you all to analyze yourself in terms of the mana, the pride. This thought is very dominant in all of us. And it comes in all hidden shapes and sizes. So when you start judging someone, there are 3 forms of judging. There are like, in Pali words, is Sayyamana, Sadisamana, and Hinamana. It means that when we judge, we're judging in these 3 contexts, whether someone's equal to you, higher than you, lower than you. And all form of judging is negative. It creates negative karma. So whenever you see yourself judging in any form, it doesn't matter how small it is, I want you to just recognize it as judging, or whatever label you give it. The Pali word is mana. I call it pride, but it's really judging. So when you start judging yourself, by comparing with others, then just recognize it for that thought, and then really, identify the qualities of it. How did you recognize that it is the pride thought? And what are the characteristics of it? What makes it unique to other thoughts? When you clearly identify it, then it dies down, and then find the root cause and effect. Why did I think that? 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 Until you get to ignorance. Okay. And then when you really identify the root causes and effects like that, don't just rush it. See those root causes and effects very clearly. When you see it clearly, you will see that it's because of a cause that you felt this way. It's because of this reason you felt this way. And when you see the cause and effect very clearly, you actually then realize, it's something you realize, that this is anitya, this is impermanent. These root causes and effects are all impermanent. It's all created by energy. And their nature is that they constantly change. And anything that's changed, why should I get attached to it? It's not me. There's nothing called me really, because it's all energy. That's the ultimate realization. In order to achieve nirvana, you have to one day realize through your wisdom that this awareness thought and even the wisdom thought is impermanent. It's made of energy. And ultimately all the kusal thought, all these positive thoughts and negative thoughts, they all have to be destroyed through intellect to actually see the purest of energy called nirvana. And that's the journey. That's the journey we are in. That's the ultimate goal. So anything below that is all stories, all energies. So don't get tricked into them. Don't let them create negative actions that binds you to this never-ending life of samsara or cycle of life. And when you have that bigger picture in your mind, that awareness will stop you from committing serious negative karma, because it doesn't matter how important you feel something is. At the end of the day, it's just fixation. It just you're not seeing the right view about whatever it is that you're fixated on. Because if you change your view to this level, at a thought level, if you see everything as thoughts, if you see everything as mind energy, your karma creation will be minimized, and your awareness will be maximized, and your wisdom is at the highest level. So try to see yourself as mind energy, and try to identify the mind energy and the thought energy that exists within you at all times. And that's highly intellectual. That's highly stimulating the kusal karma, right? Kusal thought, because you need kusal thought to achieve nirvana. It's like let's say nirvana is a destination called London, okay? And right now we're all at home, so we all need to get there. So our home is an environment that creates akusal karma, okay? But we need to really get to London to achieve nirvana. So we need to really use different methods to get there, okay? The methods are these 21 insight meditation techniques, and they all help you to get closer to your goal. And until you achieve it, you're actually purifying your mind from all negative thoughts. And until you get to your destination, you keep practicing the same meditation technique, insight meditation technique that worked for you. That's all you have to do. You don't need to do all 21. You don't need to do more than one, but you must do at least one. And you must do that until you achieve nirvana. That's the bottom line. Without insight meditation, you will not achieve nirvana, basically. And even if you die without achieving nirvana in this life, if you practice to a high level, by the way, if you practice this daily, when you die, you die consciously. That's one of the powers of insight meditation. you know when you're going to die in that moment, and you're not scared by it. And because we don't know, you know, the breath that we take in could be the last breath. We don't know. That's how fragile our life is. So when you practice insight meditation, you're not scared to die. And because you're creating, you know, kusal sit or positive karma all the time. And that will help to be born into a higher place, higher realm. You know, if you haven't achieved nirvana, like in heaven or in Brahma world, or even as a human. So I mean, there's no guarantees that we will go to, we will not go to hell. But the only guarantee is if you achieve the first stage of nirvana, then that's the only guarantee that you won't go to hell. But if you practice insight meditation, the chances are that your positive karma is so powerful that it will you know, help you to go to a higher place, so that from there you can develop insight meditation and go to nirvana. So hopefully, I mean, if I can give you a message, like one message from this session, learn these negative thoughts, identify them within yourself as they arise, and then practice insight meditation. If you do this, by the next time we meet, you will have huge improvement, and you will notice that from the day one. So try to make it a high priority to introduce insight meditation into your life, and only you will benefit from it and the people around you. Because when you change, when you're peaceful, you create peaceful environment around you, and they will sense it. And they you know, it is that kind of environment that people love to be in. They don't like an environment where there's a lot of arguments and negative energy. That's what's created by these negative thoughts. So I better end it there. But thank you very much for your questions and participation. Did you say anything, your comments on today's lesson?
I was very keen to learn about the 89 unique states, and out of that, the 24 kusal energies, and
yes,
those. And earlier I couldn't see the connection of that in terms of the meditation and for mind energies. Now I can kind of see what's happening more clearly, and also the fact that when you this identified akusal thought and related to the meditation, vipassana, that's one of the areas I was trying to see how to figure it out. In meditation, to relate it to what we are learning, and this is really very useful. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, as we go along, I think you know, things become more clearer. But I just want to give you that insight now, so that you know, you can benefit from now, because who knows if we will be allowed the next time we meet. So it's important to do these now. Now is the time, and there's no, you know, right time than now. So it's important to practice this. If you understand Sinhala, there's a website called pitaka.lk, and I'll send you this link onto the chat. And if you type in this, there's the original Pali text that teaches you the Mahasatipatthana Sutra, and it teaches you the insight meditation techniques, you know, the 4 Kayanupassana. So 4 categories: Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana. So we just talked about the Chittanupassana. And next time we'll talk about the feeling meditation or the Vedananupassana. So I highly recommend you to read this. And if you need it in English, there's a Satipatthana link called Access to Insight. It also translates. I'll send this link onto the chat. It translates into English, so you can understand the insight meditations. So the body meditation that I talked about, is one of them. Second, third, fourth, like that. Feeling meditation. So the learning is very small amount you need to learn. It's a practice that needs. So what we did was a mind meditation, right? So I love the mind one, and also the feeling one, and also the thought, which is the Dhammanupassana. Those are the three things that I do. But for different people, it's different things. Different meditation techniques will be more practical. So I'll send you these into the chat. Also, if you can go to my YouTube and watch the previous one, you'll understand the 14 akusal thoughts, the 25 kusal thoughts. I have the recording, so I'll put that to the channel probably by tomorrow. So you can go through that and just learn this. When you learn this, so I mean, I only talk about the 14 negative ones, but you have to really learn all 52 so that when they arise, you can recognize them. Because you're going to practice the same meditation on these as well. This 6 will be positive in the positive mind energies and negative in the negative mind energies. So it's important to learn them. But we'll cover all this in the next lesson. Because next lesson we're going to cover the 12 akusal thought, which is 12 akusal karma creation mind energies. That's very powerful. That's the one we need to really learn and understand. So I will go through that with examples in detail. We'll do some exercises, and if you can learn these 12 and practice inside meditation with those 12, then your life will be such a calm life, and because you have a calmer mind. So look forward to seeing you all next time. So thank you very much, and may you all attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana in this lifetime itself. And thank you very much for your attendance and participation. I'll see you all in a month's time. So subscribe to the channel so you'll get the latest updates. Great. Thank you very much. I'll see you in a month's time. Have a wonderful weekend, and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ranesh.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.